Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to do a hexagon granny square, which means instead of having 4 corners, we're going to have 6 corners out here. The method or the technique or the way we do it is exactly the same way as a granny square. We're going to have clusters of 3 double crochets, and we'll start by doing the corners. So instead of 4, we're going to do 6. Then we're going to build on those. And then after round 2, we're going to have clusters between the corners. So if I were to put another round in, I would put a cluster here, here, and here between the corners. And you can make them as small or as big as you like, and of course make them in any color and material that you find that you like to do it in. So let's jump right into the tutorial. So we're going to start by creating a ring. And it's going to be a ring that's a little bit bigger than we would normally do, especially for regular granny squares. So we're going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 chains. And we're going to go into the first chain, insert our hook, turn it over a little bit, grab our yarn and pull it through, and that creates a little ring that we can work in. We're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3, and those 3 chains count as our first double crochet, and we're going to work with clusters of 3 double crochets. So we're going to add 2 double crochets next to it, and that will be our first cluster. So normally when we do a regular granny square, we have 4 clusters on the first round to create the center. We're going to have 6 clusters on this first round. So this is our first cluster. And between each cluster, we're going to chain 2. So that was 2. And then go back into the ring and add 3 double crochets. So that was 1 and 2 and 3. And again, the first 4 ones is, well, actually just like a normal granny square, but again, we are going to add 2 extras. So that is why we have this bigger ring. So chain 2 and into the ring and add 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and then a chain 2. So we're halfway there. And if you know how to make a granny square, this should be fairly easy and simple for you to do. And it's only, well, this first round and then the second and third rounds are, I'm just going to show you how to begin them, because that is where things are a little bit different, because we are working with 6 clusters in the foundation and not 4. But it's straightforward, and when you are, finished round 2 or 3, you know how this goes. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's do the last one. Chain 2 down, and let's make the last cluster of 3 double crochets. So 1 and 2 and 3. And now we have 6 clusters, and we're going to chain 2 to create the last chain space. And then we're going to find our third chain from our chain 3 in the beginning. So 1, 2, 3. So it's sitting up here, and then we're going to go in and slip stitch. And that completes round number 1. We now have 6 clusters and 6 chain spaces. Let's continue with round number 2. So if you're going to continue with the same color, you need to move over to the chain space over here. So you can just go into the top stitch from the double crochet from the previous round. Do a slip stitch over those 2. So just go in, grab your yarn and pull through the loop, so no real stitch, just a slip stitch, and then one last time into the ring itself, or chain space, and then start by chaining 3 to create your first double crochet. But let's do a color change just because it's a little more interesting to look at, and it also makes it a little bit easier to see what we're doing. So we're going back here, and I'm going to fasten off. So I'm going to pull the yarn through and snip it off like that. So here's the first round in that blue color, and I'm going to bring in my new yarn. So I'm using this orange one, and I'm going to make a slip knot, and we're going to start in any chain space you like. Doesn't really matter, just pick one. And I'm going to do a standing stitch. So I am going to pull the yarn over my hook one time, press down on it, find my chain space up here, and I'm going to go in, grab the yarn, gives me 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, go through 2, and yarn over and go through 2. So here's our first double crochet, a standing stitch. I'm going to add 2 double crochets next to it. So 1 and 2. So this is our first cluster of 3 double crochets, and since this is a corner, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And we're going to go back in and do another cluster, so 3 double crochets. And we're going to do that 6 times, like we did on the first round. So we'll end up with 12 clusters, because we put 2 clusters in each of the 6 corners. And between each corner, we're going to chain 1 to create a chain space that we're going to use on the next round. And then you move into the next corner and add your 2 clusters of double crochet. So 2 and 3, chain 2 and another cluster, chain 1 to get over here. I'll finish this round and show you how we do round number 3. So I'm done with this last round. So I just did a chain 1, and I'm going into my top stitch over here and slip stitch to finish off the round. Again, if you want to continue in the same color, just go ahead and slip stitch twice and then one more time into the chain space. But we are going to do the color change. So I am going to fasten off like that. And then we're going to attach a new yarn color. Again, we can use whatever chain space we like. Let's start over here. I'll bring in my new yarn color. I have this green one, and I will do a standing stitch one more time. So doing my slip knot, grabbing my hook and yarning over one time and fixating the yarn on the hook. Go into this chain space up here in the corner. Go in, grab the yarn, come up, so I have 3 loops on my hook, yarning over, go through 2, yarning over, go through 2. So here's the first stitch in the corner, and then again the corner is the same for all the rounds. So a cluster, chain 2 and a cluster. So here we have the first 3 double crochets, then a chain 2, and then another 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. So again, another corner in the corner, in the corner. And then we're going to, because now we have these chain 1 spaces between the corners, and we're going to put in clusters. So we're going to chain 1 to get to the chain space, and also to create the chain space for the next round. So, and then we're going to yarn over and go in and put in a cluster. So 1, 2, and 3 double crochets on between the corners, and then we're going to chain 1 to get to the next corner, and then in there it's the same as before with 2 clusters, 1 cluster, chain 2, 1 cluster. And that is how this pattern is repeated all the way. Let's pull your hook up. So on the next, so you're just going to do that all the way around. You're going to slip stitch over here when you're done with this round, and then on the next round you do the same. You start in a corner, you chain 1 when you're done with the corner to get to the chain space, put in a cluster, chain 1 and put in another cluster, chain 1 to get to the corner, and then it is just a repeat like that all the way around. And you can put in as many rounds as you like in whatever color you like. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's a lot of fun to make these, and I hope you'll give it a try. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, maybe even leave a comment if you have any questions. Other than that, have a great day and see you in the next video.